desert. No food. No water. No hope. Only a mirage.
Diamond Star Motors, an interesting amalgamation of Japanese and American auto manufacturers whose long history has provided car enthusiasts with classics such as that green car from the Fast and Furious movie, amongst others. But since 1970, this Chrysler-Mitsu mashup has churned out countless nameplates ranging from fantastic to forgettable. Somewhere in the middle, and you'll find the humble Mirage. Also known as the Lancer or Colt, this subcompact's genesis can be attributed to the oil crisis of the early 70s, similar to many popular Japanese badges of the era. The Mirage has since attracted buyers to its reliability and simplicity, evolving over 6 generations, with a brief hiatus between 2003 and 2012. This 5th generation example continued on with the same Spartan formula, perhaps contributing to its lackluster sales numbers. Unable to compete with the excitement brought on by the Eclipse, Talon, and Laser siblings, 1999 saw the production of only 8,600 Mirages, merely 4,800 of which were in deluxe edition trim such as this, meaning you're far more likely to come across a Lamborghini Huracan than one of these. How very deluxe indeed. The warm allure of sunshine. The sun offers many benefits to the human race. Vitamin D, life as we know it, electricity, and raisins, just to name a few. Unfortunately, when subjected to its penetrating rays 300 days per year for over 20 years, you get paint that looks like this. Sure, there are ways to mitigate this sort of thing from happening, but when you spend $600 on a car, you tend not to care. And anyway, that's just the start of this car's many exterior defects. To start, the hood nearly folds itself in half when you open it, a common problem in the 5th gen Mirage community. Look around further, and you'll find a slew of dents, scratches, and missing trim. Now, this isn't to say that nothing has been attended to over the years. The trunk has been replaced with a junkyard pole, and same goes for the mismatched spoiler. The former of which was more of a necessity, however, since it lost its main function, the ability to close shut. Additionally, new headlights were installed due to the common case of cataracts. And if you hadn't noticed by now, the wheels are not standard issue. They are 16-inch RPF 1s for those wondering. They happen to be in immaculate condition as well. But I suppose they ought to be, considering they cost more than the car itself. Something is missing from the interior of this car, and I just can't seem to put my finger on it. Oh, I just figured it out. All of it is missing. There are many reasons why someone may be inclined to remove the entirety of their car's interior. Weight reduction or a restoration project would be the most logical reasoning. But let's see if you can guess the real reason in today's episode of Dude, Where's My Interior? Alright, now has the interior been removed because A. Flood damage, B. A spider infestation, C. A crackhead previously owned the car and made the seats all goopy and left their crack pipe behind the dashboard, or D. It was stolen by an ex-girlfriend? If you guessed C, a crackhead previously owned the car and made the seats all goopy and left their crack pipe behind the dashboard, you're a winner! Yes, it's true. Upon purchasing the car, the interior was deemed too disgusting to use on a daily basis. So it was removed, and in the process, drug paraphernalia was discovered tucked away behind the dashboard. The single seat you see here is from an early 2000s Lancer. Years of neglect have also taken a toll on other interior components. The radio doesn't work, the driver door doesn't lock, and the left rear door can only be opened from the inside. Oh, and don't try using the broken radio and the headlights simultaneously. Smoke will mysteriously billow out from the steering column. And, well, maybe I'm just nitpicking now, but this window could use a bit of grease in my opinion. The owner has replaced at least one thing though, the gauge cluster. This one is from a slightly newer Mirage and features a tachometer, which would be useful with a manual transmission, that is to say if the revs didn't read a few thousand higher than actual. Oh well, it's not all bad news. At least the air conditioning and heat work. Perfectly livable. So far, this Mirage hasn't exactly had an easy life, with a questionable ownership history that has made it aesthetically dilapidated. But mechanically, this little Mitsubishi is a solid daily driver, mainly due to an almost invincible 1.5-liter 4-cylinder and 5-speed manual transmission. Over the past 5 years, the drivetrain has mostly undergone routine maintenance, outside of which only the motor mounts and valve cover gasket were replaced. Its only current issue is a small leak from the rear main seal, but considering all else, this mighty motor has persevered through an abusive upbringing and yet continues to provide reliable transport day after day. Were there problems early on? Absolutely. The fuel pump was rusted out, and much of the suspension sagged and flopped around more than a gaggle of grannies at a Zumba class. Yet somehow even more terrifying than that image, when the vehicle was purchased, 3 of the wheels were hanging on with only 2 of the necessary 4 lug nuts. Thankfully, with the current owner, who I am at least 80% sure is not a crackhead, these areas have all been addressed and fixed, if not upgraded. It now rides on a decent set of coilovers, and it has a nifty pearlescent rear subframe, because why not? The rear brakes have even been converted from drum to disc. So now this featherweight econo-compact cruiser from DSM's golden era accelerates, turns, and stops in a safe and nimble fashion without batting an eye. What more can you ask for? Okay, well, I guess I could ask for an interior. That's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next mile.